Welcome to Teachings from the Masters with Daryl Shaun Price.
Hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So I want to talk today about your attention. I know we've talked about it in the past, but I think this really bears repeating. And I want to dig a little deeper. Your attention, the things you give your energy to, create the beliefs that your subconscious uses to create reality. So let me explain. If you keep paying attention to and you keep giving your energy to the same situation over and over again, you keep getting that same pattern of that same situation that feels the same way. And this is why one of the most important things you need to do is pay attention to your body and your nervous system. If you're in a fight or flight mode, your attention is probably feeding cycles that are not working for you. If you're in a mode where your nervous system feels safe and at peace and you're calm, and that's a good indication that your attention is where it needs to be right now. And it's really, really easy for us as humans to get caught in this dichotomy where, okay, we sit and we visualize and we imagine and oh my gosh, this is the life I want and this is what it feels like and it's great. And then go put all my energy onto the life I don't want because it feels like I have to right now. And then wonder why this isn't coming. The life you want is an energetic reflection of who you are, not something that's coming down the pipeline once all the little pieces fall into place. It comes the moment that you are able to receive it. And this really goes to, and I want to talk a lot about your nervous system today. So your nervous system reacts. It reacts to things as threats or not threats. It will put you in a fight or flight mode or in a mode of peace and calm. And if you're like me, you probably spent a lot of years in this dichotomy of, man, I really want peace and calm and freedom and I want a life that feels good. And oh man, I've got to put up with this and this and this and this and this that doesn't feel good. Well, your energy is split. And the default will always go here to defending because it's scary, and that's where the energy is going to get pulled if you keep putting your attention on the wrong things. So let me give you a couple examples from my life. So I spent many, many years going from one volatile financial experience to another. Now I had money coming in. I was really good at getting and finding money and having enough, but just enough, just in time. And then I would spend big amounts of time in this fear of, is it coming? Is it going to get here? Is it going to get here on time? What if I don't pay my bills? What if this doesn't happen? What if this falls apart? And then the whole time, I was busy in my meditations and my visualizations, manifesting this life of financial freedom. I don't have to work again. I don't have to worry about bills. I don't have to worry about money. And what that felt like. And I could get into that feeling when I was meditating, but then almost immediately, hey, here's a situation. Oh no, this person who's been paying you for the service might not be able to keep paying you. Oh, it's going to be delayed because they don't have enough money. So it was these situations of feeling unsafe and unstable over and over and over again. And my mind would automatically default to, I got to fix this. I got to fix this problem. Yeah, I know I'm going to have this and I know it's done and I feel it, but I have to fix this problem. Because right now I have to pay a car bill. Because right now I have to pay my rent. Can you see how those two lives don't feel the same? If you're truly financially free, you're not in a panic to get a bill paid. Okay, but right now I don't have the money and I'm in a panic to get the bill paid. Yes. And that is just a situation, and that is just an experience. The key for me and the key for you is to stop paying attention to. It's not that you ignore it. It's not that you just, oh, well, let's get kicked out of the house. Let's not pay the car bill. It is that you stop putting your energy in, I have to keep maintaining this that I don't want until this comes. So Here's what this might look like. And this is why it's so important, by the way. Your job every day, let me take a couple steps back. Your job every day is one thing and one thing only. Live in alignment, follow the peace. And it's all the same thing. Be at peace on the inside. So, oh no, panic mode hits. Stop. Take some silent moments. Take some deep breaths. Calm your body, calm your nervous system. When you're in a state of calm, get back in alignment with what you want. Get back into being at peace if you can't get in alignment with what you want. And let me explain. So there were times I was in so much panic that trying to imagine that financially free life that I'd imagined before felt like force. Don't force it. If you can't do that, just be at peace. Once you get to a state of peace and calm, and you're fine right now in this moment because you're mindful of this moment, then listen. There will be inspired action. Sometimes the inspired action is, it's okay, just wait. And it was several times for me. And then, of course, your mind goes, well, we can't wait. You still have this. And it tries to get the fear cycle going. But no, that one impression of just wait that felt like peace. And I did. And lo and behold, within a couple days, something worked out and it fell into place and this miracle happened and everything was fine. Sometimes, and this is the bigger one for me, sometimes there will be an inspired action that makes so little sense for what you want. And your mind is so used to, your conscious mind, your nervous system, your subconscious mind that keeps programming and repeating the same patterns based on your beliefs is so used to this that it excuses away an inspired action. So let's take my situation again. Over here, panic about, oh no, bills and money coming in, and maybe it comes in and maybe it doesn't. And I'm in these situations over and over again where there might be money there or it might all disappear all of a sudden. Well, that's a pretty scary, unstable situation. There were several times I got inspired action to, I'm going to go look for and get this job. And my mind goes, oh no, work and jobs is stressful. Don't go get another one. That's still not this. But the impression was there. It felt peace. That impression, let's talk about that for a second. That inspired action is always one moment of one idea that feels like peace before your brain kicks in. You will have some fear that you just stepped through when you're taking an inspired action. But now let's play this out. When I did take that inspired action, and I'm going to talk about an occasion that happened years ago for me. So I was in a situation where, oh no, things are financially volatile. I really don't have the money to pay my bills. I ended up living in a friend's basement for a while and felt this inspired action to go apply for a specific job at a local community college. But my dream life wasn't working at a community college, and it wasn't going and paying the bills through this job. It was being financially free. So my mind immediately is like, well, but am I just settling? Well, that's not what you really want. And it's just going to be as horrible as all these other experiences. And you're still going to be stuck and you're still going to be going nowhere. Luckily, I calmed myself, got myself into alignment, felt completely at peace. And then just asked, does it feel like peace to go apply for this job? Not because it leads to this, not because it's going to be someplace where I just have to settle. No, because when I'm in alignment, it felt like peace to do it. And that's one of the keys, by the way. I'll tell you how the result worked out in just a second. But this is one of the keys I hope you are really, really digging into for you. Inspired action isn't about a specific path that's going to get you to this. Sometimes inspired action is just the exact thing that would be the easiest to get you into the state of being where this can come easier. You do not know what's going to happen. You only know the step in front of you, and that is enough. You do not know how it's going to work out or not work out. Your brain thinks it does. And your brain keeps playing these scenarios based on the beliefs you have and the repeated patterns, which often keep you stuck in this fight or flight mode and this survival mode. But that's why it's key that you're not doing anything. You're staying in a state of alignment. You're staying in a state of that wish fulfilled and what that feels like. And you're only taking inspired action. So let's come back to this inspired action. So I went and applied for this job at a local community college, and it's one that I was way overqualified for. But I thought, okay, you know what? It's a corporate trainer job. I can put up with doing this for a while until my manifestation comes in. My brain was all sorts of justifying, which it didn't need to. The key was to have the faith to follow the peace and take the action. But I let the brain go and I just kind of observed the thoughts, and I went and applied. And I got a really, really interesting call. So I got a call from the head of the department for the job that I applied for. She said, look, your resume isn't exactly what we're looking for, but I noticed you have experience with this specific piece of software. It was a Microsoft project, by the way, that we can't find anybody to teach. And we have an entire corporation paying us to teach that. So here's what I'm going to do. You come in and give us a sample lesson, and let's see if we like the way you teach. And if so, you've got the job. So I came in, I did a sample lesson on Microsoft Project, a very boring piece of software, by the way, and not the best project management software out there. So I went and did this presentation, and they were blown away. Like, wow, the way you teach, like, I feel like I want to keep learning. This is exciting. This is fun. You have the job. And it was kind of a funny situation because here I am in my mind settling, but it felt good. Hey, I just had my nervous system calm down because I'm now in a place of stability. Now my nervous system could feel easily that things are going to be okay, which put me in a state of being to be more in tune with what I really want. And there were some amazing things that happened because of that job. Not only did I get to teach the course and get that pay, but the department head and I became very close. She asked me to develop an entire curriculum for a very specific offering that they were going to have that ended up being taken to a refugee center where I got to touch the lives of hundreds of refugees and help them create a stable foundation for their life going forward. These are experiences I never would have had if I didn't follow that inspiration. And because I followed that inspiration, I felt safe. My nervous system stopped freaking out and panicking. Guess what? No longer was I easily drawn to put my attention on fixing all the issues. They took care of themselves because I followed inspired action. And your mind only sees the present. So when you do something that doesn't seem to match what you think you want, yeah, your mind's going to say, oh my gosh, but that's not this. Why would you do that? You can't do that. If you do this, you're not having that. That's okay. That's why we're training the mind. That's why what we're doing to remember how to be the master and the creator involves calming the nervous system, focusing the mind, watching and accepting the feelings as they come up, and getting back in alignment with spirit. So through this experience, I had some of the most precious, wonderful, amazing times that I've ever had in any job/career I've ever done. And I've done a lot in my life. And it's not that it was the end all and be all. I don't work there anymore. I haven't worked there for years. Last year, though, I did have the department head call me and say, hey, will you come back? We really need you to help us get this back on track. It hasn't been as good since you've been there. Because I don't live in that state anymore, they can't actually hire me. But it was really nice to hear. And guess what? Every single one of these wasn't about the experience I had. It wasn't about the specific details. It wasn't about that, I was settling for a job. But it was my spirit, my heart, my mind, my body in sync when I was manifesting, when I was visualizing, when I was aligning myself with that wish fulfilled So that now my subconscious could say, okay, this would be the easiest way to get you to that state of safety and feeling that right now, which means that's who you're going to become. And this will come quicker because you don't attract what you are. Sorry, let me correct myself. You don't attract what you want. You create a reflection of what you are. So if I constantly stayed in the volatile panic state of, I don't know if money's coming in and what hoops do I have to jump through just to get my bills paid, I am so far from this that energetically it's a long road. When you live in alignment, when your only focus is, I will live in alignment, spirit, heart, mind, and body, and I will be at peace, you will receive inspired action that will show you the next step that is the easiest path for you to create your happiest life. And it doesn't matter what that is. Happy relationships, financial freedom, better health. This is why it's so important you listen. Listen. Idea comes up that feels like peace. Yay. Brain goes, oh, well, but you can't do that. And then you're stuck and settled. No, feels like peace. We're going to do it. We're not going to wonder why. It is not mine to know what's going to happen. The amazing things that happened from that experience, from that role that I took, there's no way I could have predicted that. In my mind, I was just going to get a job because I had to pay bills and, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to have to settle and be this now. But no, it led to so many miracles of so many other experiences that has gotten me to many other places, to many other opportunities to open many other doors. And it took me a while in my life. That wasn't the end of it all. That was just the spark that started me realizing the dichotomy I was living in. I want this and it's beautiful and it feels like peace, but I live in chaos all the time because I'm so scared of losing my freedom that I'm not taking inspired action unless it looks exactly like I can imagine it looking like. You don't know how, you don't know when, and you don't know what's going to happen. So stop trying to. And honestly, there were times I had to tell myself, nope, you don't know what's going to happen. That's just a thought. You don't know if that's going to happen. Oh, I catch myself going down this spiral again. Nope, stop it. You don't know what's going to happen. This feels like peace. You follow it. Let me give you another situation. And this is another time, a little while later, when I was having that same pattern of, oh no, I'm in a situation where I'm working for a startup because it feels more free, because I get the freedom to do whatever I want, because it's kind of on me to build it with the person who's the owner, etc. So I don't feel so controlled, etc. And again, volatile, and I was not at peace, and it was suffering every day, and I was frustrated, and I was struggling. That's not who I want to be. So there was this other time, and this time, that did get pulled out from under me really badly. I had enough money coming in, even though it was panic of, okay, is there going to be enough? Is there going to be enough? Is there going to be enough? Are we there yet? I had enough money coming in for a few months, and then it all disappeared, and they had no more money to pay me. And so, of course, I know I can create anything I want as long as I stay in the feeling of what I want, and peace and harmony and financial freedom. But I was in a current state where my nervous system was freaking out because of the same pattern I'd let myself fall into. And again, inspired action. I'm going to go look for a job. I'm just going to go make sure I have what I need to pay my bills. The moment I started looking and started seeing those opportunities to pay my bills, my nervous system calmed down. I never did take any of those jobs. Other things fell into place and other miracles happened. But what I did was follow the inspiration this time without questioning. I followed the inspiration and said, I'm just going to go look for a job. I'm going to find what I need. We will have our bills paid. Okay, I'm going to go do this inspired action. So sometimes the inspired action you have might not lead where you think it's going to lead, but maybe the exact step you need right now that gets you to be who you need to be to create the life you want most. You are a powerful creator. But if you are constantly splitting your attention between, yay, this is what I want, and oh my gosh, this is horrible, you will default to the, oh my gosh, this is horrible. because your nervous system is scared that you're not surviving. This is why it's key to learn to live in alignment. Calming the body and the nervous system, focusing the mind, allowing the feelings without judgment or attachment, and aligning with your spirit so that you are at peace no matter what. Then anything that pops up that feels like peace, you follow it. You don't need to know why you're following it. You don't need to know how it's going to work out. You don't need to know what's going to happen. Just follow the inspired action. And if action isn't inspired, if it's out of panic, don't do it. Never act unless you are in a state of peace and you feel like, oh, that idea feels like the right step to take. Because there is nothing greater than the power of you. And when you are in alignment, you will naturally create your happiest life. See you guys next time.